Hi everyone, Carl Valeri here, Showcase Live 2019 Sport Aviation Showcase here in DeLand, Florida. We're inside now, the winds are picking up, so it's a perfect spot to be. And currently we're actually here at Kanardia, and Kanardia is actually, first of all, I love the shirts, it stands out. And these folks here are really friendly, and we're going to talk a little bit about panels, but some other things too, so welcome.
Thank you for having us. Yep.
So today we're focusing on your booth today as far as what you're doing in Kanardia Avionics.
Yeah, so we fairly new in the United States. We've sort of relied on the company to scale up their operation a little bit, and they've done that now. We can now handle the kind of capacity that we expect to get here in the United States and in Canada. And so we launched back in the summer at Oshkosh, and here we are doing our second show in DeLand.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you have here today.
So we've got a variety of different panels here, showing the whole range of products that Kanardia makes. Some of the nice features about this stuff is if you have an old legacy panel and you just want to update with some technology, you can incorporate some of our what we call our Indu singles. And so there's some electronic capacity in there that has multiple different functions, so you can save some space in your panel. If you're redoing a panel and you want to start from scratch, or you're building a new aircraft, you might want to incorporate some of the flat screens. So we've got some high-end models with touchscreen, ADS-B capability. It'll talk to your radio. It'll do your engine monitoring. So there's all that functionality. Or we've got some smaller ones that do a little bit less, minus the touchscreen stuff, for a little bit less money. We've got a great joystick, which is completely configurable. You can use it to control just about everything on the screen, which is a nice feature too. Yeah.
So we're here with Chris and Malaya Horston here. We I love your booth because everybody kind of swarms around it because of the technology as we see here, and I think the ease of use too. We were talking a little bit about the components in the back and the plug and play. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So most avionics packages that you see today have they have a lot of wiring to do. So when you get them, the install kits include the pins and the RS-232 connectors, and you got to wire all that stuff yourself. And it gets a little complicated. It's time consuming. It's fine detail work. If you're like me and you wear little reading glasses, it gets a little frustrating. Kanardia has done a great job with making this stuff plug and play. So you can just, you've got your holes in your panel, you've got your panel cut, this stuff screws in, and other than the power, which is something you'd have to hook up to your ship's power, you've got pedostatic, and the rest is pretty much, you screw in a BNC connector for your GPS, and everything else is Cat5 cables. So you just plugging in basically Ethernet cables between the different units. Very easy to install.
Almost plug and play.
It's definitely plug and play.
And yeah, about 3 or 4 wires between each box.
So you can daisy chain them together for power, but you can also slave one to another, so you can share the sensors or buy one that has no sensors and just use it as a slave unit connected to the master.
Sure do. It's funny, I keep looking back at years past how much weight we've now saved because of this.
For sure, and that's another great aspect of this stuff, is every one of these components has been designed with weight savings in mind, and the ultralight community, the light sport community. And so, a typical instrument weighs like literally a few ounces as opposed to the pounds that we calculated, in the old days with steam gauges. So you could have a super, super light panel and put that weight to better use for fuel, people, baggage, whatever.
Yeah, it is amazing. We go from pounds to ounces, which is terrific. How about price point?
So price point, yeah, I would say we're pretty competitive with what's out there now. One of the comments I've been hearing today is, I bought the G, this or the X that, and it was fine. I got the instrument for a similar price to some of this stuff, but then they had to buy the install kit and the bracketry, and then I had to pay someone to do the wiring because I wasn't competent enough to do it myself. And so when you put all that stuff together and compare it to what we've got to offer, it actually is a much better deal in many cases for builders, yep.
And for the people that are watching us now or maybe later on, how can they find more information about Kanardia Avionics in North America?
Okay, so we're currently using their website because they keep their information the most up to date. It's also where all the software lives and the manuals for us to duplicate that here didn't make a lot of sense. So our own websites are sort of being modified right now to point to their website, but it's basically www.kanardia.eu, and EU stands for European Union. So they're in Europe, in Slovenia.
So it's easy, kanardia.eu, and all the information about Kanardia Avionics in North America will be on that website.
Yep, everything you need to know is there. All the manuals, all the specs, some great pictures. They've got some 3D views where you can spin the instrument around, look at the back and the front of it. It's really good to look at. Yeah, lots of information.
So if we could, let's also shift into you folks too. You guys have been around this industry. You're involved in quite a bit in the affordable aircraft and sport aviation. So, and we'll come back to Kanardia in a second. So what else are you folks involved with?
Oh wow! So we've got our fingers into a lot of stuff. But so back in Canada, we've got an association we started this year called Canadian Light Sport Aircraft Association. That association is advocating for rule changes for us to be able to bring more aircraft into Canada, LSA type aircraft. We are also, I don't know, you want to talk about the Rachel thing?
Sure.
So if you're familiar with Rachel St. Louis, she's building a Bush Cat. We love what Rachel stands for, the fact that she's a young entrepreneurial type of aviator and that she's a great ambassador for aviation in general. So we talked to Kanardia head office in Slovenia, and they agreed that we should support her. So basically what we've done is we've donated her panel for her Bush Cat. And so we should have that ready probably by Sun and Fun next year. And so I don't know if you talked to Rachel, but Rachel has decided she wants a pink panel. So we're going to have this pink anodized panel with Kanardia gear in it.
That's cool. I think that's awesome that she's doing that. That's awesome what you guys are doing, and Kanardia is doing also. I know, Valeri, you're having some issues with your voice today, but I won't have you talk about specifically the avionics and all, but this is a cool show. I mean, you actually get up close and personal with a lot of people. And I try to stress that DeLand, the Sport Aviation Showcase, is really a place to talk to the vendors and have a long conversation. How are things here today, but also in general? How do you like the show?
Yeah, I think it's been great, and just to see all the different aircraft that are here all in one place together, and to show how strong the LSA and experimental market is, not only in the U.S., but it gets us excited as Canadians to see what can actually happen in our own country too. So it's always great to be able to actually check it out and be like right in the cockpit here and be able to, walk around the planes and have it all in one place. And DeLand Airport is the absolute perfect place for that.
So we're all here from Florida, and we're complaining about how cold it is. And you're sitting here like a TGID, and you're all bundled up. But is this cold to you?
It feels cold, yes.
I'm actually shivering right now.
Well, thanks for doing that, by the way. It looks good.
I think we brought it here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so actually the cold does come up from up north, and we're actually happy to see our Canadian friends starting to move down to Florida right now, and we call them snowbirds, and we're so happy to see them because they bring aviation, and they bring it here to DeLand and also all throughout Florida. So just hats off to, and I see them all flying in. It's really cool to see them land. But as far as you folks, and one of the things that's really important with any of the things that we have at the show or any of the vendors is, if I got a problem, I need support for the instruments, for anything that I'm building. Well, how do you guys help?
Well, our partners here in the U.S. are Aerosport. Aerosport are the distributors for the Bush Cat in the United States, but they're also the distributors for the Canadian stuff. So they're there. We're in Canada. And the nice thing about Kanardia is at this point they're still a relatively small company when you compare them to the big the giants like Dynon and Garmin and Avidyne. And so even this weekend during this show I've actually been texting back and forth with the engineers at the factory saying, hey, I had someone come and ask me if we could do this. Can we do this? Yep, that's a simple programming change, and just let me know or whatever. Hook me up to them and we'll make it for them, make it work for them. So that's the kind of support we get from the factory and we pass along to our customers.
How many times have you called an engineer at Garmin, right?
Yeah, well, I got to say Garmin's support has been great. I have some Garmin product, and every time I need some help, they're there for me. So they're pretty good with that too, yeah.
They're just such a small community, though, there at Kanardia, which is cool. Smaller company. But, yeah, you're right. I love Garmin. They've been, and all the companies, they really are supportive of aviation, which is terrific. So to find this, it's kanardia.eu. If you're coming to the show, it's going to finish up here in about a day or so. Don't forget that if there's anything we talked about, you can download this video and the things we talked about on Facebook Live, Sport Aviation Showcase Live. You also can get it on YouTube. This video we're going to actually put up on YouTube at a much higher resolution, make it easier to actually to view this and to actually download it yourself and watch later. Anything else about the product that you want to talk about?
I think we've pretty much covered it. I mean, we've got a lot of functionality in this stuff. I would encourage you to check out like you say, the videos and check out the website, because that's where you'll really see, all the details of what these things can do. So simplicity is the key, but the functionality is absolutely there, for 99% of LSA type pilots or experimental builders. Yeah.
And the customization. Customization is key as well. A lot of the screens, you can have it exactly how you want it, and it will eventually be something you can change on your own, which is also great because you don't have to call someone to actually get it to download into a new screen style.
Yeah, I want to see the little 3D views online, that we can kind of pull it around here. But it's a cool looking panel, and I love looking at the back of this. It's just so simplistic here. It's incredible. The weight savings is great, and the price point is really good. So
we've actually we've got software that you can download from the website. It goes on your tablet or your phone, and so that's how we update our units when they come out with a software update. But it's also how you configure a lot of the stuff. So you can say, well, I want my panel to look like this, my screen to look like this. You can drag and drop instruments around to where you want them, and then just upload that to your panel, and away you go. It's that simple.
Awesome. Well, guys, I can't wait to see some of the projects that are finishing up, especially Rachel's, and and seeing the pink panel. I think that's going to be pretty cool to see, and it's always fun to interview folks that are excited about aviation, what you guys are, and it's been wonderful talking to you. Anything else you want to tell us before we cut off?
Yeah, well, thanks for having us here in Florida. Despite the cold, we love being down here, and we have great friends down here in other other businesses. So it's always a joy and a pleasure to be here and sharing the passion that everybody has. So thanks for having us.
Can't wait to see you here next year. Oh, other shows you're going to be at?
We'll be at Sun and Fun. We'll be at Oshkosh. We're looking at Mount Vernon. So you'll definitely see us around in 2020. We'll be back at it again. We've already booked those shows. So
cool. We'll talk to you again. I won't be in my sweatshirt then, that's for sure. Well, thanks so much here at Kanardia Avionics, and we're really excited to see these new products and the cost, the price point, the ease of use, and the weight. Carl Valeri reporting for Showcase Live here at the 2019 DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase. We're having a blast. Don't let the weather get you down. Still have the STOL aircraft out there. They're going to be doing some takeoffs and landings. And don't forget, download these videos on YouTube.